Hello guys, I'm gonna do some lights today, some under the dash lights, you know, the kind you 3M tape underneath. Anyway, B-Max Jeep Mods here. Let's get into it. I'm going to show you how to ohm it out using a testing meter. Okay, so for those of you who are worried about hooking up the wires to the wrong thing, or you're looking for your harness lights online and you can't seem to find a wiring diagram, you can test these wires in your dash for the lights that run, you know, when you turn your lights on. That way you don't have lights that run constantly, or lights that just run when the Jeep is on, regardless if it's night or not. Anyway, I took this speedometer out. That's really easy to do. As you can tell, there was only 2 plugs. It was 6 little screws. There's one here. Mine broke right there, but one here and one right here. That's 3, 4, and 5. Sorry, there was only 5. To take the black panel that's around that off, I think actually there's 7 because there's one there and one on the other side. Those are just Phillips screwdrivers. You can just take those straight out. Anyway, all right, on to the testing part. So I've got my key on, as you can tell by the lights on the radio. You won't hear any beeping or anything because everything's off. And what I have done, show you, I stuck that to a ground right there, and it's kind of, it's in there pretty good. I set my meter to ohm, which is that little symbol right there, ohm, and the lines with the dots, that's DC, so we will check DC voltage here in a minute. Let's ohm out for our ground. If you hear the beep, like, they're connected together, which means that you have a ground right there, like that. Ohm it out, that means, you know, you're testing your continuity. But basically the 2 of them touched and it made a noise, which means that we know that they make a noise when they touch together. So if we find one of these wires on that pin right there that makes the noise, it means it's connected to that ground right there. So I've already done this, and so I have seen that it is this bottom pin here. And there she be. So that's our ground. And what I did, that's that bottom left on the pin. This is a 2003 JK, sorry, not JK, sorry. 2003 TJ, sorry. I got a JK sitting over there. 2003 TJ, just a SE, you know, 2.4 liter, whatever. So if you have one and you're looking for that, that's what it is. All right, so this bottom left pin, right there by my thumb, right there, that one is going to be our black and green stripe. That is a ground, okay? So when you're installing your LED lights and you want to hook them up to where when you turn the switch on at night, your lights come on as well, then you're looking for a hot and a not. And the not, or the ground, is going to be that black with a green stripe. And that's on the 2003 TJ 2.4 liter. Mine's a manual transmission. I don't know if that matters or not as far as the wiring harness goes, but there's that. So, all right, now the only thing we need to do is find a power, a 12 volt. So my stuff is still hooked there. Now we're going to go back to my meter, and we're going to turn that to one setting over, which is the dotted line right there. That's the DC. We want to make sure that's DC and not AC, otherwise we won't get anything. So DC, I have 0 volts right now, and if I touch my ground over here, we will still have 0 volts because we have no voltage, and it doesn't beep, so we know it's not on ohm mode. I've already done this before, like I said, so I know that it's my top right pin, and I put that in there. Yeah, it's not getting good connection. You gotta make sure it gets good connection. It's another problem. Oh, so let me tell you, you're seeing negative 0.2. That's because the lights over here are not on. I'm trying to do this with my phone in my hand, so I'm not entirely prepared. So I'll go ahead and just turn the park lights on, because that's what I want them to come on to. They'll come on with the regular lights too, but I don't want to drain my battery. So I'm just going to hit the park lights I've stuck it in there on that top right pin. It's in there good. I've got my ground made good, and voila, 12.3 volts. So that is definitely going to be our hot. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my lights off. Looking up here at the top right pin, which is this one over here on the corner, and it happens to be a black with a yellow stripe. Now remember that our ground was the black with green stripe, so you need to make sure to get a piece of paper and write that down if you want to. Anyway, we've got black and a yellow stripe. So what we'll do is we'll go under here and we will start hooking our stuff up. So to save time, I have already hooked mine up, minus the ground. I haven't hooked the ground up yet. We've got these little connectors right here, which are these. These are super handy for making these kind of connections. You don't have to cut anything. You don't have to worry about breaking anything. These are cheap. I found it in a basic electronics kit at Walmart. You can get them at the parts store. They're pricey at the parts store, but Walmart's real easy. So you'll basically get your wire that you want stuck in there, which is our wire from our lights, the end of our lights, the red, and you stuck it in the short part of this in the back. You can see where one goes all the way through and the other one has a cap on it on the back side. You want to put it on the one that's got the cap, and then the one that goes all the way through is going to be the one that we don't want to cut, and that's going to be that yellow and black, or the black with the yellow stripe. That's our power. That's the 12 volt. And then the other one was a black with green. And then we will take our ground and put it on the black and green somewhere in here. Now this is just right under the steering wheel to the left side here, and if you can't find that, if yours is not the same, wherever you test your plug, trace that wire all the way back there, and it's starting to go down, and you can see it comes right to there, and then there's an opening, and there's my wires. Now if you want to double check with all that, you can take your test probe. They've got little pointy ends on them if you have one. If you don't, you can go get one. They're pricey. If you get an expensive one, they're pretty cheap other places. I think Harbor Freight has some. That little pin, that little end right there is pretty sharp, and it'll usually cut through some wire. If not, take your pocket knife and just skim it just a little bit, and then stick that to it to test your voltage levels. And if you get the right voltage on the wires, then you're good to go. That's just double checking to make sure you've got everything right. Okay. Other than that, we're good to go. I'm gonna make up this ground real quick, and then I'll get right back with you, and we'll show you exactly what it looks like when it's installed. Quick, I wanted to show you guys, see the, you had your color down there, your hot is down there, and then over here is a pack, a whole bunch of these green, the black with the green stripe and grounds, and they go to a ground down here. Now I wanted to show you how to hook that up. See, I just put my wire in the spot right there that it goes down. I bent it a couple times just to give us a little extra. Got it in there real good, and then slid this connector right over the top of that wire, and I'm gonna take my pliers and squeeze down on this, and it's gonna bite into that wire right there, and then I'm gonna close that cap. Okay, now when you do this, you want to make sure that your lights are off, because you do not want to make up the ground or the hot without the lights being off. Otherwise it might grab a hold of you. And it's 12 volts, so it's not bad, but it definitely doesn't feel good. So make sure that the power is off before you do any of that. Usually you make up a ground first, you know, so you don't fry anything or anything like that. But with it being 12 volt, I'm not really concerned about it. I work on high voltage power lines for a living, so I'm pretty okay with what I'm doing here. Anyway, I'll get right back to, oh wait, you know what? Let me just go ahead and crimp this, and I'll show you just how this is supposed to be crimped. So get your pliers in there. You can see your wire right there. Go ahead and bite down on that a little bit and squeeze it in there until, you don't have to squeeze too hard. Just make sure that it's flush. See how it's flush? And give your wire a little tug. See how that didn't have anything in it? It didn't crimp down on it. So what you do, don't fret, don't fret. This is easy. You take a pocket knife, or a pair of pliers or something, or a screwdriver, and you pry that open right there and get your wire back in there real good. Make sure to hold it. It takes 2 hands really, but you put your 2 hands on there, and then you can crimp right back down in that same spot. So you don't have to actually waste this crimp. You can take this off real easy like, and take that little metal piece and slide it up a ways to where it's back to where you need it. Anyway, I'll go ahead and do that, and we'll get back to you guys in just a sec. Just like I said, I got that connector there. I just pulled it apart, pushed the metal piece back up into that position that you can reset it, and then I got my wire in there real good with both hands. Got it made up, crimped it real tight, and then I took a zip tie and put the thick part of the line right here. I put it up there and zip tied it in so that wire, the thin wire, stays nice and protected back up in the dash here. It ain't gonna go anywhere. There's my lights down there. Those are cheap Walmart lights I bought for, actually they were on sale for 18 bucks because somebody opened a package and brought them back. And anyway, we're gonna turn my lights on. Poof, there they are. Just like that. So when you turn your lights on at night, your lights will be working. And these are pretty cool. I like these. They do all the different colors you want, whatever you want. Well, it comes with a little remote, and you can you know, do different stuff. But anyway, there's also a 3M round tape thing right there for that remote. Comes with a little parts package. You can take that and mount it up here, or over here, or over here, or just wherever you want to, and put it to the back side of that remote right there, and you'll have a place for your remote. Now obviously I'm going to have to do some 3M taping and hiding some wires and whatnot. Zip ties are your best friend, I guarantee that. So anyway, this is B-Mac with B-Mac's Jeep Mods, and we will see you next time. Rewind. B-Mac's Jeep Mods. Okay, finished product if you wanted to see it installed. Got my dash put back together, got my door back on. 1 switch or 2. It's telling me my lights are on. Ha-ha. Yep, nicely tucked away. There's my deal. There's the lights. You can see the other ones down there too. But use that 3M tape, stuck it right up in there. Kind of hid the wires away. Can't see anything, but you can still see the lights. Bright as day, isn't that crazy? I like it though. Personally speaking. So these are real easy to install. They are quick. I'd say it took me about an hour to get it all done. Becky's JK, I got to install too. So hers come on. And since she's got the 4-wheeler, she likes purple, so I get her purple. A bunch of kids' stuff back here, lunch boxes and whatnot. But anyway, yeah, easy install. Took about an hour. If you like it, yeah. Then hit the like on the video and let me know what you want to see next, because I'm just doing random mods. I love modding my Jeep. It's so much fun. Thanks. See you guys later.